album, and I'm delighted the man himself joins me in the studio. Tony, you're very welcome indeed, and thanks very much for coming all the way down.
Not at all, Tommy. Thank you very much for asking me. A pleasure being here again in Highland.
How are you keeping? The new album just released.
The new album just released there Easter, so it's still fresh on the shelves yet. So, and thank goodness it's doing fairly well for us at the minute. Thank goodness.
Well, come here. Before we talk about the new album, I think that's your number 11, is it?
That's number 11.
Tell us how it, for any of our listeners now who don't know who Tony Kerr, which is, I doubt it, there's very few. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from and when you started.
Well,
like, you're still a young fella, you know.
Oh, I wish, Tommy, I wish. Well, I'm from... I was born and reared about 3 miles outside of Ballymena. Small farm. My father was always from where I live now, a place called Martinstown, Glenravel. And we moved there, I think I was about 15 or so at the time. But I was the youngest of a family of 8.
Yeah.
And, well, some people might say I was spoiled, but I try not to look at it that way. I always remember listening to my older brothers and sisters. They both had cars, and that was the old 8-track cassettes at that time.
Oh, I remember them well.
And they were listening to the Merle Haggards, Johnny Cash, all the what I call the legends at that time.
Yeah.
And then my sisters were listening to the female equivalent to those, the Dolly Partons and Tammys, and I grew up with country music, and that's what I suppose my older sisters seen, I suppose I would call it a passion that I have for country music, and they paid for me to get guitar lessons.
Yeah.
And I got enough lessons. My teacher then moved actually down south, down to Naas, and I've never set eyes on her again since, but I had learned enough to play probably 3-4 chords and enough, but most of the music career at that time, Tommy, was in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I loved the country music. I listened to it. I didn't listen to any other types. My own friends were listening to the Eagles and all that type of thing, and to me it wasn't country enough, and I just sort of progressed from that. But at that time, I never seen myself as, like I sung at parties, house parties and that type of thing, but not professionally. It was sincerely a pastime for me. And then, I suppose, as time moved on, we won talent competitions at school and entered into different things from our teachers at school, and we won them too, both solo and with the band we had at school, and always kept the love for country music, even though, as I say, my friends were listening to other radio stations. I wanted to listen to one, like very much like yours, that was playing pure country music.
Yeah.
And then I suppose it's about 21, it must be about 21 years ago now, I decided that I would put a small band together again myself, and just for enjoyment go out and start playing music round the pubs and clubs and stuff. And thankfully I did, Tommy, because again, well, I suppose when I was doing that, people had said to me, you should be recording. Have you any CDs or, and I thought, no, I haven't, and I honestly thought, why would I record? I thought, who would want to listen to me? And then I thought, well, for my own, suppose, something that I could look back on, I decided I had about 2 songs that I wanted to record. The first one was China Doll, and I think the second one possibly was Fool. And I recorded those, and then the producer said to me, Paul Manelli up in Ballymena, up in Pine Grove Studio up in Ballymena, he said, well, now you've 2 done, you might as well do an album. So that's basically how it started. And then about, well, it's 19 years past, I had an accident at work. I fell 20 feet from scaffolding.
Oh.
and smashed my leg, my left leg into bits. And well, it sounds silly, but probably maybe one of the best things that ever happened to me. For it, many's a day on the build. I was a builder. I wanted to work with my hands. I was a joiner first, and then I ran my own business. I was celebrating 25 years of my own business at that time, and I had the accident, and there was many a day in the building site you always thought to yourself, oh, there's bound to be something better I could be doing. But I never really thought on the music. But when I had the accident and realised that I couldn't go back onto site again, I realised, well, sure, the music's there. And I remember coming out of the hospital, and funny, it's just amazing that we were talking to Paddy Bradley there 2 seconds ago before we come on air.
Yeah.
Paddy had me in the Milford, and I come out of I come out of hospital on the Wednesday, and I was singing on stage with Paddy, and I had my crutches and my cage and everything on, and probably maybe it was too soon when I think back on it now, but it was a lifesaver. The music was a lifesaver for me, and around that time, the one you played earlier, then too, if it weren't for country music, I'd go crazy, and that was around that time. That must be 19 years ago. That album's out for. That's what I done when.
I suppose too that the time you were out when you hurt your leg, it gave you a bit of time to think. Maybe there could be a couple of bob in this country music. Because I remember when I was working first before I got involved in radio. I had my day job, and I said, it's grand, having the nice little pastime, the music and that, but you have to make your living day by day, and. Could you make enough out of them?
Well, I suppose I have done this last 20 years because that's all or 19 years. That's all I've been doing. But I think nearly any musician would tell you if you're there, especially here anyway, if you're there to try and make money out of it, well, you have to have the love for it first.
Oh, yeah.
I think because
definitely.
And people probably think it's very, very easy, but when you have a full load of gear to set up and play for a couple of hours and then take it all down, and then maybe 3-4 hours travelling home. Yeah. It's not all sugar licking, but I think if as I said earlier, I have a passion for it, and that's what keeps me going.
And come here, after you were playing the local gigs, when did it spread out a bit further afield that people kind of got to know you, because you're well known all around the Northwest now and further afield at the moment?
People, I suppose whenever my music started being played on the radio stations, and thankfully people liked what they heard, and I have been blessed with the voice that I have, and it suits the type of music that I like, and that's what I do. I don't try to be anybody or anybody else or sound like anybody. I try to sound like myself, and I suppose I would be I would probably maybe be classed as a perfectionist. I like things to be right, and I like but that's just, everybody has their own ways. That's just me. I like to be there on time for things and give ourselves time to set up and get properly. Some nights it can go pear-shaped on you, but generally it works. But I know. I think really you need a love. To keep going.
It's a kind of it's a passion more than anything else.
I think for me it is now. Anyway, you know what I mean.
It's the same as this job with me. I could sit here all night, and it's just you love doing it.
You don't really think of the pounds that you'll get at the end of it or whatever. If you hadn't the passion, you wouldn't be. You would be away doing something else, and and it takes all sorts, and it's. The music has been very good to me, I suppose, because you get to meet the people. And we have met some wonderful people through the music, which I never would have. I never would have had the chance to if I hadn't went into the music. I remember again shortly after I was doing another concert pretty close to home. And at the end of it, I had a cage in my leg, and I probably had the crutches and all. And a man come up to me and says, "Tony, if I could give you back your leg but take away your voice, what would you do? And I said, I don't even have to think about that. I would go through the same thing again if it would point me in the same direction.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go through the same thing and not know where I was going. I've been there, and I know, but that sounds silly, but I would go through the same thing again as long as I knew that it was going to be music involved at the end of it. That's just the way I feel about it.
You were mentioning about all the people you met over the years. How did Leona Williams gig, or how did you come to meet Leona first?
Leona, funny. Well, I would be a massive Merle Haggard fan.
Yeah.
And, well, there was a friend of mine at that time, he has now passed away, but he had said to me, Tony, would you like to come with us and see Leona Williams? And I said, Leona who? And he says, Leona Williams, she used to be married to Merle Haggard. Well, as soon as he mentioned Merle Haggard, that was good enough for me. So we actually travelled to Dunlow to see her.
Yeah. She
was in the Mary of Dunlow Festival, I think, along with Daniel and that. And I think it was at one other concert that she was at. And again, unfortunately, not too many people there. And they had asked me up to sing at the concert. So I had done it. And I just thought, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I said to Leona, would you like to record with me? And she says, certainly, I would love to. And we've recorded 3 now with Leona. Just between the two of us, I think, was the first one. And then I brought Leona over on a tour. I think she's been over twice with us. And of course, I've been over in America with her then too, her and her son Ron.
I remember actually seeing you up in Ballykelly with
her.
Ballykelly,
that's right.
It was either 2018 or 2019.
19, somewhere around that time, yes.
That was a great show.
It was a good show. Again, unfortunately, not too many people there, Tommy. But
isn't it funny? Irish audiences are very funny. You and me were talking off here about country music and the way it is. Like people, especially that you like myself, are more into the real traditional stuff. But the Irish people are very funny. I was at a concert in Ardra a couple of months ago. Ags Conley was there, an English country singer, and he is class 10 people.
There you are.
Isn't it funny?
I don't know what it is. Fair play to it takes all sorts to make a world. And but I what I think possibly, Tommy, is a lot of my listeners, I hate to use the word fans, but a lot of the people that come to see us and listen and buy the music, they're all elderly people, and I suppose a lot of them are happy enough just to stay in the house. And COVID I suppose has a lot to maybe answer for too. There's people that hasn't sort of got out again after COVID, but the sad thing about it is, with our style of music too, when some of the ones do pass on, there's not many young ones taking their place, and that's the sad thing about it. But hopefully we can still try and keep it alive. That's all I try to do, keep the country music alive.
We're talking about fans of yours. If ever you or Leona Williams is around, Convoy's very own Billy Benson.
Oh, absolutely.
Billy would follow you to the grave,
He does. Billy travels up.
He loves this. He loves the real Texas
country music. He does. I do a country music night the second Monday of every month up in the Ramble Inn between Antrim and Ballymena. And Billy and his partner Odessa and some of the other ones sometimes travel up there faithfully every month. They very, very seldom miss a show. So, we get people from all over, from Donegal, from Belfast, Cookstown. It's great.
And there was a man from Enniskillen used to go to.
That's right,
gigs.
Jimmy Sharp. Jimmy Sharp goes to them too. Yes, Jimmy. It's lovely to see those people there all the time. But you can't expect them to be there all the time because But they do.
Oh, they love it. They'd go out 7 nights a week. The boys.
Well, we played about. Was it back in May? I think we played in Kellybegs, the Bay Hotel in Kellybegs, and Jimmy was up from Enniskillen to there as well, and Billy was there, and all the usual ones were round to see us. And when we're mentioning names there too, I better mention Patsy and Anne McHugh.
Oh.
From they're near the Blue Haven.
Oh yeah, just
somewhere
out past Kilcar.
That's right. That's right that direction. So if they're listening in, a big hello to you.
Do you do any gigs over this part of the county? You know, like you mentioned Kilcar and down there. Have you done many over here in this part of Donegal, like say the station in Letterkenny or vendors like that? Because I know you're a good friend who was up with me there a couple of weeks ago,
Liam McLaughlin. Yes,
he's over in the station now. Did he not get you into it yet?
Well, it must have been whenever I had booked the station in way back. Oh, I had the place all booked for about a year, and Donegal managed to get into the final again.
Yeah.
And the Saturday that we were playing in the station in Donegal, were playing in Dublin in the final. So we had a very poor crowd, but we played on, and I haven't been back at the station in since. So, but no, we have played. We used to play McBride's and Castlefin and. Yeah. Just the usual things, but I suppose the young ones coming now, they're more up to date with what the people want, and that's it. Time you move on, and that's it. But no, we still if somebody wants us.
Did you go down to Paddy Bradley's down? Paddy has a big night down there in the Mulroy Woods. It's called now the Mulroy Woods on a Thursday night, and I see he has Kieran Rosney down there.
Yes,
everybody thinks he's me son. He is not. But have you ever done that? That'd be a lovely venue for you.
We were down. It's a few months ago now. It was one Sunday night we were down, and we done it was part of a concert. We done a cabaret dance type thing. We done. Yeah. So I know we do that, and if anybody wants us there, all they need to do is ring up, and if we can make it work, we do. We travel anywhere and everywhere. If people want to hear us, that's the way it is.
Come here, I'm not going to let you go yet. We're just going to play yourself and Leona doing Just Out of Reach. Do you want to dedicate it to anybody?
Lovely.
Apart from Billy Vance.
Now you've put me in the spot. Well, just to all the listeners out there, thank you very much if you're tuned in tonight. And anyone's further afield, Just Out of Reach, that'll be...
Well, we'll have a listen to it now.
That'll be lovely.
Runs away from me, dreams that just won't let me be, blues that keep on bothering me, chains that just won't set me free, too far away from you and all your charms. Out of reach of my two open arms.
Each night in dreams I see your face, memories time cannot erase. Then I awake and find you gone. I'm so blue, so far away from lips so sweet and warm, just out of reach of my two open arms.
That lonesome feeling all the time, knowing you cannot be mine, dreams that hurt me in my sleep, vows that we could never keep, too far away from lips so sweet and warm, just out of reach of my two open arms.
There to go, that's Leona with her very own Tony Care and a great version of Just Out of Reach. Tony, you make a great duets couple.
Our voices just seem to blend for some reason or other, and Leona is so easy to work with too, and it's hard getting the material. I would love to do another one before it's too late with her, the both of us are getting on in age, so
does Eileen sing?
Well,
it's another day.
Probably the answer to that would be no.
Well, he's walking home tonight.
I would say so. No, I think Eileen knows herself. She, I remember being in the car, and our children are grown up, man and woman big now, but they were travelling with us, and Eileen started to sing a wee bit, and they said, "Mommy,
stop the car,
Mommy, no, don't you sing." So that sort of explains. But
oh no,
I tell her everybody can sing.
Come here, when you're choosing songs for the albums now, you have 11. When you're choosing the songs, do you choose them all yourself? And
normally I do, yes. Thankfully, I'm lucky enough when everything's on my own label, I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah.
It's you normally know within inside, even the first couple of seconds, even the intro into a song, sometimes whether you like it or not. And on saying that, there's a song I think you're possibly going to play it later there, Fly Butterfly Fly. That was sent to me from somebody in Australia, and when I listened to it, I thought, no, that really doesn't, it didn't do anything for me, type of thing. And then I remember being in the studio. I was getting in, and the night before I was wondering, what am I going to do? And I was looking through Marty Robbins, who again I'm a Marty Robbins fan, and I come across the same song, Fly Butterfly Fly, and I put it on, and I heard Marty Robbins' version of it, and I thought, that's the song there. That's the song that was sent me before, which I had sort of left it to the side. But sometimes it takes you to listen to one or two to and trying to find ones that the people like too is very, very hard. And
oh yeah,
sometimes you just have a gut feeling. And in saying that, normally too, I'll bring in, like, the title track of the new album was, it was an old bluegrass song. A man by the name of Larry, is it Larry Skaggs? I think it's Larry Skaggs.
Yeah. Wouldn't have been Larry Cordell, no?
No. I'm nearly sure it's Larry Skaggs. I heard the bluegrass version of it. Larry Sparks.
Larry Sparks.
That's, I'm just getting told. Larry Sparks. But when I heard it, I thought I could do a nice country version of it. And normally what I would do, if there's a song I would like, I bring it in, and I say to Paul Manili, my producer, I would say to him, Paul, what do you think of that song there? Is that, can we work with that? Can we do a country version of that? And he'll normally, if he thinks it's a good song, he'll say, oh yes, we can work with that. Or, well, we'll see, we'll maybe leave it, we could pick something better. So, that's sort of how it goes too. And again, like China Doll and that there has been a big song for me.
A song that suits your voice really well.
People say, oh, you're a Slim Whitman fan. Well, yes, I like some of the songs. I don't like all of his stuff.
Yeah.
But, I have to like the song first before I'll sing it. And when I like it, then it becomes easy. And when you're in the studio, I try to do my version of it and try to do it the way I feel it. And that's, to me, that's what country music is about. It's about telling the story. And, as I said, I'm people would ask me, sometimes, do you get nervous on stage and stuff like that? And I say, well, I do, because I have a very, I suppose, selfish attitude when I go onto stage, because I like things to be right. I like, to know that I have spent my time and set everything up the way I want it. And then it's up to me then to get my songs across to the people. And that's the way I do it. But I have to like it first, if you know what I mean, so that I can do that. That's the way I look at it,
I must tell you a funny story about songs. We were out in Nashville one year, and I don't know if you know Patsy Hart from Strabane.
Oh, yes, I know Patsy.
Well, we were out there, and we went down to this studio. It was kind of, you go in and you can make a little song like I recorded,
Yes.
The Gambler and something else, but it was just the backing tracks.
Yes.
And a friend of mine did an old Drifter song, Under the Boardwalk, but it was a key too high, and I was under the boardwalk. But Patsy was down there, and Patsy picked 2 Jim Reeves songs.
Yes.
And the 2 songs he picked were in the key that he
He
sings.
sang them in, yes.
And it was like he had been in a real recording studio, and Patsy brought it home, and Patsy recorded in Nashville. And
Yeah.
it was a tape at the time, but he just got the 2 backing tracks in the right key, and his
Exactly.
voice.
Well,
Patsy's
all
great at doing Jim.
that works too. There's certain songs that the likes of the guitar players like, and they're maybe the original key to get the sound of the original. But first of all, especially when I'm falsetto or yodeling, it has to be in the key to let my voice break at that type of point. So I know it's all. There's a well, as my producer says, it's all mathematics. He can work it out, and he normally knows, no, that's too low for you, or that's too high, or you'll not be fit to reach that, or but
The last time Liam was down with me, we were talking about music, and a lot of the young artists coming out now, some of them are recording the same song. And Liam was saying about, on old country albums, there's forgotten songs that might never have been played.
Absolutely.
And if people just took the time and listened to a song, it suits them, and give it a whole new lease of life.
Exactly. It's very, very funny too. You would see people, especially when you bring out a new album. If people were thinking about buying, they would look at it. No, I don't know
Hold it
that
up there.
one.
Hold it up there to the camera. The album.
Called Tennessee 1949.
Tennessee 19.
And there's 10 tracks on it, but some people like to know the song for some reason or other, but as artists, we're all sort of striving to get an original that nobody else has done,
to make it your own.
to make it our own. But it's hard knowing to, but as I say, I try and pick the ones that I like to do, and hopefully that so far so good. I say this is my 11th one, and hopefully people will like it. We can if anybody wants it, if they it's in all the music forums, or if they contact me through Facebook, we can send it to them, we can post it to them. We also have it on a pen drive too for the.
That's what I was just going to say. The way it is now, if you have a car after 2015,
no CD player.
But Tony, what I love about the CDs, and I have it here in my hand, is I love when you open it up, the CD is there, and you have the name of the songs, the singers. Like, I'm just looking at your list, and you have Tennessee 49, Sing a Sad Song. I think that was Merle Haggard, wasn't it?
Well, Merle Haggard done a version of
He did a version
Wayne
of
Stewart.
Wayne Stewart, that's right. Then A Way to Survive, Jane Watson did that. Forever and Ever.
That's a Buck Owens.
That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking it's not Forever and Ever, Amen.
No,
no. That's what I see that. Then I'm Still Not Over You. I think Rhonda Vincent might have done that. Or
I'm Still Not Over You. That's a Ray Price.
Yeah, Ray Price. But I think Rhonda Vincent
Or Rhonda Vincent might have done that.
Vermont in the Fall. That's a nice song.
Vermont in the Fall. That it's another DJ actually wrote that song.
Yeah.
Michael Cummins wrote that. Another Sligo man, yes.
I know. Then For Reasons I've Forgotten, that's a lovely song.
Love that one.
Tricia Yearwood did a great version of
Tricia
that song.
Yearwood,
I forget the male artist.
I forget
who did it.
Again, I have my glasses on to see who the credits are to, but I should know.
100 years from now.
100 years from now.
None of us will be about.
That funny. That was a song. That was a song that. Well, my wife would maybe say I waste a lot of time on my iPad looking at music, but I spent a lot of time, and I thought I had heard every Merle Haggard song, but I happened to open this, and it was just, the way you see it, this has just been posted 2 days ago, or 2 months, or 2 years, or whatever.
Yeah.
I come across Merle Haggard singing 100 Years From Now, and as soon as I heard it, I thought, there's a song. and I never heard it before, and I went back on it and listened to it, and I was lucky enough. I was in the studio at that time, and I got it down, and it's probably one of my favourite songs. I do like that one.
Yeah,
100
it's
years from
amazing how you can come across songs like that.
Absolutely.
I was watching. I was watching an old thing today that I recorded last night in TNG. John Denver in concert in London, and he sang one song, and I had never heard it before. It was, I think it was called "Fly with Me." It was something he wrote for the astronauts and up in one of the things. And a lovely song. I never heard it. I'm trying to find out what album it's on. A lovely song.
I have no idea. No. Oh yes, John Denver done some lovely stuff.
Then you have "Gone with the Wind."
Gone with the Wind. That again. That's Merle Haggard done a version of that. He's not the original, but as the original is very hard to get. That's based on the film Gone with the Wind, but it's your typical country song about divorce and breakups and what have you.
And you have "Old Roman Soldier." I think
Old
Gene
Roman
Watson
Soldier.
did that.
That was a Gene Watson song, yes.
And there's some really good songs on your other albums too, the track list. But as I say, that's what I love about the old CDs, when you can open them up and see, apart from the picture of the artist, you can see who wrote it, where it was recorded, and all that. And you miss that now in your cars. But don't be telling them tell them that their CDs are coming back. Where can they get your CD?
I ask the question sometimes: who told the car manufacturers not to put CD players on? You know, I just don't understand it. But that's the way it is. But Tennessee 1949. If anybody likes it or wants it, they can get in touch. And
you have your website, or they
can go through Facebook or get it in any of the the usual forums.
Or you can say the pen drive.
Or you can get it the USB.
Is it up on Spotify?
It's on Spotify. It should be in all them forums. It should be on Spotify and Apple Music and all the ones that.
I'm going to ask you a completely different question now, Tony.
Right.
When you're not doing the music, what do you do to chill out? What do you like to do when you have a bit of time to yourself? Apart from driving to Letterkenny and
Ooh, I still would have. I'm a joiner by trade.
Yeah.
And I still would. I have a workshop at home, and I still would be in there fiddling about. I've made my own bass guitars. I play bass guitar, and I've made my own bass guitars, and I like doing that type of thing, and just keeping my hand in.
And you mentioned Merle Haggard is one of your favourites. Who else would you have liked?
Well, I suppose, Tommy, in my younger day, I started off listening to Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And I probably, at that time, it was the wee 4-track cassettes. And I probably had every track that I could find of Johnny Cash's that was coming into the country. And I found that I thought I could play guitar along with him, and it helped me progress that way. And then I started listening to Merle Haggard, and as I said, I wouldn't have listened to anything but country music, and for a long time, Tommy, I was kind of blinkered by Merle Haggard.
Yeah,
I wasn't listening
some songs
to much else other than, and even yet I still would go back and listen to Merle Haggard.
You could do a whole show of Merle Haggard.
I could. There's a lot of Merle Haggard stuff in my program, stuff that I haven't recorded, obviously, but I do a lot of Merle Haggard stuff, and they're always get out of jail songs in my opinion. They can. A lot of people know them, and they like Merle Haggard, But like George Jones, I try to, with me being in the Ramble every second Monday, every month.
Yeah.
It's not a completely different program, but there's always new material. Because I don't want people saying, "Oh, I know what he's doing next. He'll be doing this one, doing that." Yeah. Sometimes to suit the dancers, yes, we try and
change it around.
But there's a lot of people like the likes of Billy Vance and that come to listen, and we always have new material.
Good music is hard to beat.
Exactly.
Even if you're repeating it every so often, like there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, just it's a lot of work for me and the band, but thankfully the boys take it and learn it, and we don't always get it right, but it's live. You get mistakes and all sometimes too. But as I tell them, I have to learn it twice. I have to learn to sing it, and I have to learn to play it.
Yeah.
So they just have to learn to play it. So, but oh no, going back, we love doing it, and hopefully we can keep it. My banner says keeping country music alive, and that's what I want to try and do, and that's really what I'm about.
Have you heard from Leona recently at all? Or
I was speaking to Leona. I'm sure it's about maybe 6 weeks back, with the view to possibly bringing her back again. We don't know. I'd been talking to Ryan Turner too about that too, but there's nothing set yet. Again, whether she'll be able to travel or not too, we don't know. She's getting on too, like the rest of us. But we'll see. We haven't ruled it out or ruled it in. We'll see just what way things are.
She still sounds as good as ever.
Oh,
and her son Ron is
fantastic,
fine singer.
fantastic singer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great to go over to America too, and anytime we are over there, we normally spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
So. No, we would love to have her. We'd love to have her back again.
God, hasn't the music changed big time over there in the last 20 years? It's gone. Like I know they say music will change around, but it's, I'd be really one of these hardcore people. I'd say,
really?
I couldn't listen to that.
No.
Like if you looked at the CMA awards for the last couple of years now, that's terrible.
I don't. I generally, as a rule, don't look at them.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's not my type of music. And there's people out there who love it, and fair play to them. That's, as we said before, it takes all types.
But it's not country music, like it might come under the country banner, but like I know you have a kind of different genres in country. You have country, you have bluegrass,
and
Americana.
all that.
But apart from that, like when you see them bringing on Beyonce onto the CMA Awards, I say, that's too much. Or some of the other ones as well.
Exactly, worse than that. But oh well, that's the way it is. That's, I suppose, the almighty dollar or whatever you want to.
Murder on Music Road, that was a great song. Or George Strait had a great song out too there recently. It's about I forget the name of it. I have it there. I'll play it later on. It's kind of getting a dig at. They're not playing his music on the radio anymore.
No. But that's who knows what way it might turn back again to the old stuff. But no, it's the only stuff I would listen to. I don't. I find it very, very hard, as whenever Merle Haggard comes on, or George Jones, or Charlie Pride, you know exactly who it is.
Yeah,
these are.
That's right. You recognise the voice.
You recognise the voice right away, and sometimes you even recognise the music.
That's right.
And you know who it is. But these ones that are coming on now, you're listening, and as to learn those songs to sing, I don't know how anybody does that. I don't know how they would ever get them into their head, because they're not like the old country songs that we do. But that's just the way it is.
Well, come here. Before I let you go, we're going to play one more track from the new album, For Reasons I've Forgotten.
Oh,
how did you come across? Why did you pick that song?
Well, again, it probably was just, I was looking through YouTube and looking for stuff that I could find, and normally when I hear a song, I heard it was Trisha Yearwood and Raul Malo, I think, says the Mavericks are doing that one, and I normally try and find the original of it to hear, because sometimes I like, when the original's there. I think too, probably, for me anyway, if you hear a song, whether it's from the original artist, but the first time you hear it, if you like it, that'll be your song, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Rather, a lot of them can change to make it their own. But I liked Trisha Yearwood's version of it, and I was, again, when you're listening to it, you think, well, that's a woman singing that there. Will I be fit to make it work for me? And I think I did. It's a song I like. It just, the words mean an awful lot too. That's and I think we've all been there through different things, arguments and fallouts and what have you, and it's basically like that, so.
Well, that's great, Tony. Come here. Thanks very much for
It's
bringing
been-
Eileen up, and it's lovely meeting yourself and herself, and continued success. And hopefully,
Thank you very,
know
very
where
much.
you know where I am now. So
Absolutely, Tommy. Thank you very much for asking us down and looking after us so well. Thank you very much
we're
indeed.
going to play For Reasons I've Forgotten.
For reasons.
For reasons I've forgotten now, we brought love to an end. Ain't it funny how the little things seem so big back then? Down the pride that makes me want to break instead of bend. For reasons I've forgotten now, I lost my one true friend. It's lonely tonight, looking back on yesterday, seeing the fool I was, feeling the price I paid.